Welcome to yet another spectacular story on Stories of Success, Kahaniyan Kamyabi Ki, presented to you by HP and HSBC Bank, powered by TELUS and La Prep Bistro. Our guest on the show today is a man from Patiala who came, saw, and became one of the most successful immigrant stories in Canada. As a teenager, he dreamt of owning a hotel one day. Today, he owns 29 hotels in Canada. He started by selling insurance, ran a highway service center, and now runs one of the biggest chains of flagship hotels under the brands of Hilton, Marriott, Holiday Inn, and Starwood. He's adding to the beautiful Toronto skylines by developing multiple high-rises and hotels. He makes every South Asian proud when we read his name on the box office of Toronto International Film Festival. Let's welcome Dr. Steve Gupta. Welcome to our show, Steve. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Please. As I was telling my viewers, you own 29 hotels in GTA. You are developing various high-rises in Toronto. And you only have 24 hours in a day. So how do you manage?
Well, let me tell you, everybody has 24 hours in a day. Nobody gets even 1 minute extra. So it all depends on you, how you manage your time in those 24 hours. A lot of people take full advantage of 24 hours, other people may not. And I take full advantage of my time. I don't waste 1 minute of my time. And delegate, and we have a great team of people. It's not just me alone, but the number of people, I delegate and go and do these things, and they get it done.
Awesome. Do you get to sleep?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so you are ranked as one of the top-ranking hoteliers in Greater Toronto area. Are you a hotelier by chance or a hotelier by choice?
I think by choice, a little bit both we can say, but when I was young in India, I used to think or dream about owning a 5-star hotel one day. And I like the hospitality business. I like the panache of business, so I was always fascinated about in the hotel business and providing the service and all, everybody coming in and going. And so I like the business, and when I got the chance, I got in and slowly built up my way up.
So now you said being a hotelier was your childhood dream. You always were fascinated with hotel business. So tell us something about your family and your early years.
I was born in Patiala in Punjab, and large family of brothers and sisters. My father was a builder back home, a small builder. He did some contract work for government. I was the eldest son, so I always helped him. Mm-hmm. And during my studies, I was always part-time helping my father in the evenings, weekends, And I grew up in that environment, and my father was becoming dependent on me a bit. Mm-hmm. And it was great to learn. I've seen construction when I was 10 years old. Oh, wow. And our supervisor used to take me on the bicycle in the back. They used to have the carrier. So those were the days. That's how it was. But I was always, I'm one of those learners, fast learners, that I look at something and I don't need to know anymore.
Right.
And that's how I grew up in that business, and then I decided to come to Canada.
Now, in a traditional Indian family, coming from India, and especially in Punjabi families, the elder son is expected to carry on the legacy of the father. Was the same expectation made from you?
Yes, it was, because obviously I was younger than my father, of course, and educated, and my way of doing business was very different. And my father was becoming quite dependent on me, and he wanted me to carry his business, but I didn't want to. I wanted to start something on my own and build something on my own, and a totally different business.
Growing up in Patiala, as a young man, were your ambitions and dreams aligned to Patiala, or did you have a bigger vision for yourself?
I think I had a bigger vision for myself. Some of my relatives were in England, so whenever they visited us, we always got fascinated with the Western world. I wanted to explore it. And while I was in Patiala, I was studying, did my BSc Bachelor of Science. I used to speak English, and a lot of my friends used to say, "Oh, chhad do Angrezi, Punjabi ch gal kar." So they'll say that. But then I studied 2 years in Kurukshetra University for my master's in mathematics. In those days, there were only 2 people who spoke reasonably fluent English, if I can say that, and which helped me when I came to this country. And I don't know, I was different than everybody. I had big dreams. If I go to a foreign country, then I'll do something different.
So, when did you decide to pack your bags and go to the foreign shores?
It was 71. My paternal uncle was visiting India, and he told me, why don't you go to Canada and you can go there. And I got really excited. I bought a return ticket and I left in March, went to England. I didn't have a visa for England either. I was stopped there at the airport, and they grilled me for 2 hours, but my English saved me. Okay. It's true, because he even told my brother-in-law who lived there, and he said, "Your brother-in-law speaks good English. Why didn't he apply for visa in India?" He said, "I don't know." And that's what he said. But it helped me in the end. They allowed me for a week to stay in England. Then I went back to ask for extension, and gave me another 2 months. So I stayed there for 2 months. Then I came to Canada. And same thing here. When I came, there were a number of people in the plane who were coming probably to just apply for immigration or coming to Canada. So immigration officer asked, "Who speaks English?" And I raised my hand, and they took me away. For a second, I was kind of scared that I'm isolated now. I have nobody there to talk to. But when I talked to him, he just stamped and let me go.
As a young teen, what were you like? Did you have that, as we discussed, you had that wild ambition and passion to make something, but what was a young you like?
Even as a youngster, I really worked hard, because working hard with your studies as well as helping your father. And I was very dedicated to my family. And that's very important, because I think that Indian culture teaches you, like brothers and sisters, when you're eldest, you're like your godfather or second father to your younger brothers and sisters. And I did that for a number of years. But when I was younger, I either wanted to go to Bollywood. I could sing a little bit, and I sent my portfolio. You know, those United producers used to have select some, and I didn't make it anyway. So which was probably good. So I was able to come to Canada.
Did you apply for any career options in India before coming here, or?
I did. I went for a competition for income tax those days, and I came. I was so overconfident in my math. I made one question wrong, which was 20 points, 5 questions or 20 points each, 100 marks. And in all of the 5 territories, which was Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and Chandigarh, and J&K. Out of those, I came in the top 10, so which was pretty good.
Yes.
And I was just about to be appointed, but I came to Canada, and that's what happened. Life gives you a lot of different opportunities. I chose this way to come, and my destiny was bringing me here.
When you first came to Toronto, what was that initial feeling?
Well, weather was really nice those days when I came in May. It was a beautiful country. I was in England also. Just prior to that, I felt between India and England, whatever difference was, and the same difference was between England and Canada. So basically Canada, beautiful country, and big roads, big cars, everything. I really liked the environment. I liked the summer season and the people. And those days when you're here with nothing, I had only $108 those days. $8 they used to get it in the plane, like £3 or $8, or $100 those days. Mr. Gandhi had Given if you want to go visit another country, you can get $100. That's all how I got. And there was nothing else. So we used to walk 5 miles and to save 25 cents. 25 cents was the token or ticket that you had to buy for a bus or subway when you have to go around. And we used to save 10 cents. The ice cream used to be 10 cents those days. And this is how it is. Listen, we can call now that, we were too poor, but for me, 10 cents was 10 rupees in India. Yeah. Why spend that money? I saved all that money. And every cent, every dollar I made, I had to save and work from there.
Right. Amazing. So when you came to Canada, you just landed as a man fresh with ambition, totally influenced by the Western culture. How did your life start?
First, I came as a visitor. I wasn't planning to stay here, but I went to immigration office on University Avenue, applied for immigration, and 20 days later, I got the interview. And I was given those days they call white paper, which is the medical. To go and get the medical, and you get immigration. And from there, any country when you go, things are tough. And today, I'm sure the people who are coming today, and they think it's very hard to get established in Canada. In those days, it was the same. It doesn't change. I think our attitude has to change. Circumstances are, if I was in Punjab, I went to Haryana to get a job. I was a Punjabi. And they'll not treat me as one of the Haryanvis or one of the Haryana natives. And that's how it is. If I go to Bombay, I'll be treated the same way, that I'm not from there. And when I come to Canada, I shouldn't expect that people should treat me the same way. That's why when I came those days, and my real name is Suresh, and people were having a hard time pronunciating it and spelling it every time I had to spell. And somebody said, "Why don't you call yourself Steve?" I said, "Great." So it worked since then. Nobody knows my real name. I know this name. And so, like I said, while in Rome, do as Romans do. And that was my philosophy. And first thing, I wanted to get a job as soon as I got immigration. And I looked for real estate to get a real estate license. In those days, you had to be living in the country for 1 year before you apply for a license for real estate. So I couldn't do that. So next best thing for me was insurance salesman. So I had to write an IQ test. They sent it to New York. I passed that, there was no issue. And then you get the license. And after that, I got the job.
So when you came to Toronto, you started as an insurance advisor. Was it easy for you?
It was tough. I didn't know anybody. I couldn't sell insurance to the 4 or 5 people I knew at that time. So I thought the best way is just go and knock doors. And I knocked many doors. I can tell you, in apartment buildings, I waited for somebody to open the door to sneak in, to go in there and buy a small little gift from Honestad. There used to be a store here for $2, and which was at $20 value. So I knocked the door and tell somebody that, give me 10 minutes of your time. I'll give you this $20 gift for free, and I'll make it worthwhile for you. And some people bang the door on you. Some people open. As soon as if they open one-on-one, I'm really good in convincing people. So I was able to convince a few people and sold them really good insurance. And it was, listen, we are all salespeople in life. You have to sell your ideas to your wife, your children, your banker, wherever you go. You have to sell yourself, how good you are in doing whatever you're doing. If you want to get a loan, you have to sell yourself. This is my project, and this is why you should give me the loan. The same way, I said, now, marta kya na karta, I am going to make it happen. Right. In first year, I was the top salesman in the branch. It was a North American Life. To earn the maximum premium. So I was given a first-class trip to San Diego. And I hadn't seen San Diego. I didn't know where it was. And so I cashed in that ticket and asked my wife to come with me. So we both went in economy, which worked out really well. We were there for 4 days. It was a great trip. I still remember what we went through. It was wonderful.
So Steve exchanged his first-class ticket so that he can take his wife with him. Clearly, he was not just working hard, but he was absolutely a wonderful family man at heart. And we'll explore that side of Steve after this short break.
Well, I have a wonderful wife, very beautiful, very dedicated, and very understanding, and that's the key to my success. And because if we didn't have understanding at home, she kept the house fires burning bright, and she looked after the children and never complained about working too hard, coming home late or whatever. And you need that combination.
Today's gonna be a big day. Are you ready? Okay, so you can print from your bed. Wait, you can't print from there.
Of course I can.
That's kind of impressive.
And from here, and he can too.
I can.
Now that's impressive.
Alexa, ask my printer to print coloring pages. Lots and lots of coloring pages.
But what if you run out of ink?
Not gonna happen.
Introducing the HP Tango. Finally, a printer ready for today.
There are 8 million kids in Canada. By the time I finish this sentence, 6 of us will be cyberbullied. By the end of the month, 1 million bullied. We're not okay with that.
So we're still adjusting to these small things. You need to get the gas filled. And I reached the gas station and there's nobody to help you. You don't know what to do and I don't even know how to operate it. We just came a few months back. For the first time in my life, I was setting up things and I was like, okay, I did it on my own, but here it's very normal. But back home, you'll get help easily. Probably, it'll just give an edge to Dhwani.
The biggest advice was this, just to be open, just different does not mean bad. Unlearn a few things, learn something else.
Steve, talking about your family, obviously you are a very considerate husband right from the start. Tell us something more about your family now.
Well, I have a wonderful wife, very beautiful, very dedicated, and very understanding, and that's the key to my success. And because if we didn't have understanding at home, she kept the house fires burning bright, and she looked after the children and never complained about working too hard, coming home late or whatever. And you need that combination. I tell everyone that it's very important for any family, husband and or wife, is that either you can have husband or wife and spend all the time, or you can have a business and money and a little bit of both. And you need to have a good combination. And if everyone feels that I want to be home all the time after work, you can't grow. Anybody who's successful in this world, whether it's a businessman or a movie star or anywhere you go, you can. I am one of those. I study their lives and I take inspiration from them, and that they work hard. So this is what it is. The people, what you put in life, that's what you're going to get. And it's very important to have a good, strong family. My children were the same way. Anytime when children were growing, we were going on the social weekend to somebody's house. I will detour and take them to see a building. And they said, Dad, again, they complained a little bit, but they were sleeping in the car. So I go and see it, and because it saved me a trip, And so that understanding is very important. Having a good family, and I'm exactly the same way, dedicated 100%. I believe that in love, there is no transaction. You cannot say, I love you, do you love me? That's a transaction. I love my wife unconditionally, I love my children unconditionally. And I've always lived my life without any excuses, and I love with no regrets.
So how was the San Diego trip?
San Diego trip was actually really, really nice. It was new. We were new in the country for a year and a half, and beautiful weather, beautiful hotel. It's Hotel Del in Coronado, just outside of San Diego. It was wonderful for 4 days, and we had a good time.
So how did you meet your wife? Did you get married when you came to Canada, or did you go back to get...
I went back to Canada, and it was through some of our relations that they connected us. And we met, and we liked each other, and that was it. I think we are soulmates. We know each other, and I think of something, she'll already know. And if I'm thinking of eating something, she'll already made it. So that's the kind of understanding, and I think that is very important in any family life. And she looks after the children really well. Every one of our 4 children, Rima, Ritu, Shali, and Suraj, they have really good Indian cultural values. And those cultural values, I tell all my Indians that, this is important, never leave them. My son is now 27. And on Rakhi, he will still touch his sister's feet. She's only 3-4 years older than him. And that's our culture. That shows you the humility, and that shows you the love and affection for each other.
For your wife, when she came to Canada with you, when you yourself as a young man, you were working hard to make a living and grow. How were the initial years like? Was it tough?
Initial years, yeah, it was tough, but my wife is very understanding. She was very good, and she actually, without even telling me, applied for a job at Bell Canada, and she got it. And she worked there for 5 years. After that, she didn't, and then we had children, obviously. But she's very, those were tough days, to be honest, and we had only 1 car. And then she used to go in bus in wintertime, like your feet will freeze. And those are the troubles, or those are the consequences of where you are, what you have to go through. And now we remember them, and we feel good about them. But those days, it was really tough. Winters are tough at times over here, but now we have cars, we have the tools and the conveniences. Now we don't have those problems. But those days we did. She went through a lot of hard time, getting up 6 a.m. and 7:30 to be at the job, and then come in the buses, take hour and a half to get home. It's a tough life that way, when you think about it. And one time, I tell you, I had a old 4 years old Toyota. I bought it for $1,200, and I was driving on the weekend with my wife to an area called the Bridle Path. It's a very, very well-known area in Canada. It's actually the best address in Canada. And I look around, it reminded me of some parts of Patiala, where the king of Patiala used to have. So I said, one of these days we're going to buy a house over here. My wife quipped, she says, we don't have money to pay rent, and we're going to buy a house over here. I said, yes, one day we will. And I can tell you a few years later, we started looking, and we made a little bit of money. And finally, we bought a house over there. And we bought a lot, and then we built a house of our own liking. It has our Eastern culture, and it's very nice. It's one of those things, when you dream, things happen, but you have to work for it. But I can tell you, in that area, 50% of the houses before I bought one.
So work hard, think out of the box. The journey of Steve Gupta is nothing short of being an epic journey. And this epic adventure will continue after this short break.
Actually, I wake up with a better passion than I started out with 40 years back. So the reason is now my sky is the limit. I know my abilities, and I also know what I can get from my resources.
Right.
So-called consultants, or my team, my associate, or the people I know. So I can deliver a lot more.
Right.
So my passion never decreases. Every day it grows, which is good.
There are 8 million kids in Canada. By the time I finish this sentence, 6 of us will be cyberbullied. By the end of the month, 1 million. Bullied. We're not okay with that.
Bye, Grandpa.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
So we're still adjusting to these small things. You need to get the gas filled. And I reached the gas station and there's nobody to help you. You don't know what to do and I don't even know how to operate it. We just came a few months back. For the first time in my life, I was setting up things and I was like, okay, I did it on my own, but here it's very normal. But back home, you will get help easily. Probably, it'll just give an edge to Dhwani.
The biggest advice was this, just to be open, just different does not mean bad. Unlearn a few things, learn something else.
How did you grow from being an insurance person to a businessman?
Well, I had about $15,000 in my bank, and I was looking for investment, looking for some opportunity. And I saw an ad in the paper saying, if you have $15,000, I have a gas station for you. So I called the agent, and he responded. And it was a generic ad. Actually, he didn't have anything. He was just looking for customers. So I called him. He says, okay, I'll call you back. And a couple of days later, he didn't call, then called me back again. He said, I don't have that gas station is sold, but I have a big one. And you would need $100,000. And it's $1 million, I think. And I'll get you information. I said, why don't you get the information? So another 2 days passed by. He didn't have the information. He wrote it on a small piece of paper, put it in a pocket, and then he threw it in the garbage. And that's a true story because he did not believe in himself that he can sell that. So he didn't pay attention. So I kept bugging him. I said, why don't you find out? He said, that agent whose listing it was did not respond to me. I said, okay, but I know where it is. And but let me check with him again. So then he calls me that his listing expired. He doesn't want to cooperate. I said, you know where it is. Do you want to go there? I'll take you in my car. So I kind of hit his nerve. He says, no, I'll go. So he went there. He came back with a listing of $1.3 million with $300,000 down. I called him at my house and I started going over the details. And I said, okay, let's arrange a meeting. I want to go and see them. So I went to see the two brothers and looked into the numbers and whatnot. And I made an offer for almost half, $750,000. Anyway, in the end, I made the deal for $950,000, and I brought two partners. I borrowed everything on my house that I had those days and a condominium, and put that money down and started with the service center business.
What was the thought process in your head? Because a lot of people will get discouraged in situations like this. But you really went and...
Well, this is what it is. It's, a lot of people think that I cannot do it. And when you believe in yourself that you cannot do it, you'll never be able to do it. I will always tell myself that I can and I will. And then that makes a difference. $15,000, a lot of people say, you have $15,000, you're looking for $300,000 business, how would you buy it? And but where there's a will, there's a way. And I worked hard. I had feeling how I can raise the money. Then I went and talked to two partners. They came with me, but they left. One left in 4 months later. Another one left a year later because they didn't want to go to Port Hope, travel back and forth, and work that hard. And I paid them extra premium, and then I took over the whole thing. And again, it's one of those things you can say. Inside me that I knew is just standing on this side of a lake, and you say, some people will say, I'm not going to jump in, I'm not going to be able to cross it, and the others say, yes, I can, and they'll jump in and then cross the lake, and that's how it is. It's just believing in yourself, having the strong willpower and confidence in yourself. But the buying the business was a calculated move. I looked at the numbers, I looked at what it was, and I knew that I can make it work.
When you bought this highway service center, did you know anything about the business?
Not really. But I'm a fast learner. When I learned it pretty fast, that I noticed that in that business there's a lot of potential. And the two brothers were in 60s, and they were doing whatever they were doing, providing good service. And those days it used to be a Texaco station. And I met with the general manager, who was third in command from the president. So they could call him senior vice president, but they called him general manager for Canada. And I presented a plan for diesel that trucks that their system is not good. And he laughed. He said, "Why do you say system is not good?" I said, "Well, by the time I bring a customer and approving your discount, you take 2 to 3 months. In the meantime, customer is left. You're not going to wait for us. You have to give me that authority to do that." So anyway, I convinced them. They gave me the authority to basically approve the card on spot. And then they'll send the card in 24 hours. And we were allowed to give 5 cents, use that 5 cents per liter to give it to the truck drivers. I can tell you within a year, I tripled my business, almost. And that service center became Canada's largest volume service center on the highway. And it's again thinking out of the box and trying to think what can be done. And I had an idea, and I convinced Texaco that idea works. They made money too. And then with some customers, depending on the volume, we gave them 2 cents, give them 3 cents, some 4, some 5, large companies. And I want to bring some big national chains of restaurants over there. And I had to convince them that they won't believe that on the highway their business will work for certain reasons. But I had to convince them, and I went there to meet them in their office. There were 6 vice presidents of different areas and 1 senior vice president. And after an hour and a half, I could not convince them finally. And I was ready to get up and go. And I said, "Okay, can I ask you one question?" He said, "Sure, go ahead." So I asked him a question that, how many times you have kicked yourself after you lost the deal that you should have done the deal? And the senior vice president smiled. And he says, "Few." I said, "Then add 1 to that." And so I left, went out of the room. He came, called me back. And he says, "Okay, come." So anyway, we made the deal finally. It's just, again, thinking out of the box, how you can take a business and how can you improve it. And that's what it's all about.
Steve, I'm sure you have a very busy day ahead. And if you don't mind, we would love to accompany you to know more about you.
Sure, my pleasure.
Steve, you have achieved a lot in life. Do you still wake up with the same passion that you did when you were starting out 40 years back?
Actually, I wake up with a better passion than I started out with 40 years back. So the reason is now my sky is the limit. I know my abilities, and I also know what I can get from my resources.
Right.
So-called consultants or my team, my associate, or the people I know. So I can deliver a lot. My passion never decreases. Every day it grows, which is good.
Yeah.
I enjoy a sense of accomplishment, trying to do something totally different. And we have a number of buildings coming. This is a 52-story building here. And just 2 blocks from here is a 54-story building under construction.
Right.
This one has 1,004 units. The other one has 476 units. And it has a 188-room hotel,
Right.
4.5-star hotel. So there are lots to come.
Yeah.
And like I said, the best is yet to come.
Steve, once you settled the highway service center and made it into a success, what happened after that?
That was the start of my journey, actually. And so I started investing in residential apartment buildings within 2-3 years. And first one I bought in '83. And then by '86 and '87, we used to own almost 7,000 apartments in about 80 buildings. I syndicated 2 big projects. And one big one was in '86. At 11:30 at night, I had a call from a salesperson. He says, Steve, do you want to buy 2,500 units? I said, now? It's 11:30 at night. It was winter. It was Shelley was actually 3 weeks old. He said, yep. Yeah, he says, you have to put an offer by 11 a.m. tomorrow. I said, okay, come over and I'll have the coffee ready. So they came over by 12:30. And my wife didn't say much. She says, do you have to do it now? I say, yeah, they're coming. So she's very understanding, and I'm telling you. And we worked until 4:30 a.m. And then 6 a.m. I went to see some of the properties, just visited them. I know Toronto very well. And by 11 a.m. I said the deal was that 50-50 with the other group. And I will be the president, I will lead, and I will set the prices.
Right.
Somehow they agreed, and we won. We won 2,500 apartments bid, and then same year, Cadillac Fairview had 10,729 apartments in under the receiver, and I wanted to go for it. And you know, this is what is different. People do different things, but entrepreneurs do things differently. And I've always kind of looked a different angle with the same thing. It's the idea that has the value. Once you have the idea, anybody can make it work. And if they plan it, and that's what I always did. I'm an ultimate optimist. And I always believe in optimism pays big dividends. And people who are pessimists, they can't do much. I mean, they'll be always worrying about the penalties of being unsuccessful. And I worry over the rewards of being successful. It helps TIFF, obviously. It helps. It promotes culture. It promotes art. It promotes film. Films are the best medium today to send a message to any generation. Doesn't matter. And they have changed the lives of a lot of people. Actually, they reshaped the world today. Films have done that.
So we're still adjusting to these small things. You need to get the gas filled. And I reached the gas station and there's nobody to help you. You don't know what to do, and I don't even know how to operate it. We just came a few months back. For the first time in my life, I was setting up things and I was like, okay, I did it on my own, but here it's very normal. But back home, you'll get help easily. Probably, it'll just give an edge to Dhwani.
The biggest advice was this, just to be open, just different does not mean bad. Unlearn a few things, learn something else.
Today's gonna be a big day. Are you ready? Okay, so you can print from your bed. Wait, you can't print from there.
Of course I can.
That's kind of impressive.
And from here, and he can too.
I can.
Now that's impressive.
Alexa, ask my printer to print coloring pages. Lots and lots of coloring pages.
But what if you run out of ink?
Not gonna happen.
Introducing the HP Tango. Finally, a printer ready for today.
You were obviously championing the real estate market with apartments at that time. How did you achieve your goal or your dream of owning a hotel?
Well, that was my childhood dream. I wanted to own a 5-star hotel. And we built first one in 89. And then after that, it's been going on. And but I pay a lot of attention to detail. And I started with under promise, over deliver. We built our hotels. In its caliber, it was the best, not only in Canada, but in North America. And I wanted to make sure that I deliver that. And the proof is that we won multiple awards, not only for the best hotel in Canada, but international best hotel in 49 countries. Wow. At that time, that brand was in 49 countries. And so having a belief in yourself and paying attention, I do research whatever I get. When I want to get something, I don't leave any stone unturned when I want to do something and I want to learn myself. And then I surround myself with the right people, obviously, and that helps. So we have every one of our hotels is award-winning, including this one where we are now.
Steve, since then you have grown one hotel into an empire of 29 hotels, which includes almost all the major brands in the market today. Was this road an easy road, or were they full of challenges?
Well, there have been many challenges, and life would be dull without any challenges. In hotel industry, we have had, in the last 35, 40 years, 4 downturns in the business, so-called. And we braced ourselves and did very well. And I'll give you an example on a couple of them. One time we had, when 9/11 happened in New York, and the hotel industry was hit really hard. And everybody in downtown laid off people. And I had a hotel in downtown. I actually hired triple my sales force. And we did not lose any business. And for a year, and then after that, it was back to normal. And that's one example, thinking differently, thinking out of the box, and not following the crowd. And that's the key. And there were times that it was hard to find financing when you're doing the hotels, because you get 60 to 65, 70% financing, mostly 60, 65. When you build a project, especially the new builds, were very, very difficult. Even appraisers were giving me 20% less value than the actual construction cost. But I always persisted that I'm going to make it work, and whatever I did to make sure I did it. And we were successful. We were able to sustain through that time. And in 2008 or 9, when there was a big downturn in the US and here, and it was very difficult to make build any new builds. Construction costs came down by 20%, and nobody was building. And so I thought of myself, none of the downturns or so-called recessions have lived forever, other than the Great Recession of 1918. They last from anywhere from 12 months to 18 months, maybe 2 years, but usually 12 to 18 months. So I planned on that basis. I built 3 hotels during that time. And my construction cost was 20% less. I built it faster. And when everybody was not building at that time, and I opened my hotel, by the time they started building, it took them 3 or 4 years, I was up and running. So again, thinking out of the box and trying to do it, taking very calculated risks. And I think that's the key in any business. Everybody says that I'm smarter than anybody else, but many times you are. But if you do the right things, you cross all the boxes and do the right thing, then right things will happen to you.
One very interesting thing when I looked at your company's profile is you lay a lot of stress on integrity, respect. Tell us something about your company culture.
Sure. I believe, and I always have believed, that having a great reputation, integrity, can build your business. I believe that if you have a good reputation, you can have a good business and you can build your business on that. But if you have a bad reputation, then it's very difficult and nobody wants to deal with you. Anybody I want to deal with in my business, and when I meet them, I want to touch their heart with my humility, with my reputation, and with my integrity. And people feel that they want to work with me. And that's the key one key to success. And I make them comfortable. And when I'm in their company, I make them comfortable. I'm very happy. I show my joy that I'm happy to meet them. I'm happy that I'm with them and happy to do business with them. I think that's very, very important. And it took me 40 years to build this reputation. And I want people to know that this, sometimes you want to get shortcuts. You want to do certain things, but there are no shortcuts in life. You cannot do that. When you do that, you compromise with something, and those compromises will come and haunt you later. And we have built, I believe, impeccable reputation everywhere in mainstream. You go anywhere in Canada, I've had people come and tell me, people know in Vancouver, whether it's Vancouver, Ottawa, Montreal, anywhere in Canada. And it's important because then it's my children when they're in business, and anywhere they go, oh, I know your dad. Oh, I've done business. He's a great guy. So that opens the doors for them. It's good for them. And I think I have always paid my 100% emphasis on making sure our company is built on great reputation and great integrity, and keep the family values together. Our family values is I start from my own family first. My wife is 100% understanding, and we are soulmates. And she never questions what I do, never questions how hard I work and why. I give my time to my family, and my children are the same way. And I will do anything for my family, my wife, and my children. At the same time, those same values, same dedication and love and affection that we have together in our family, we also project that into our business. And we call it Easton's extended family. Everybody's part of it. And we have systems in place that we reward people and who work with us, and they all feel they're part of our family. We don't feel, and I'll walk into the hotels, I'll start from the housekeepers, or it doesn't matter who they are, or manager, go and shake their hand and thank them for their contribution to our business. And it's all the values, culture values, and a lot I would cater to my Indian values. Because being an Indian, our Indian values are all we have is a family. And that's how we work. We'll do anything for our family.
So we're still adjusting to these small things. You need to get the gas filled. And I reached the gas station, and there's nobody to help you. You don't know what to do, and I don't even know how to operate it. We just came a few months back. For the first time in my life, I was setting up things, and I was like, okay, I did it on my own, but here it's very normal. But back home, you will get help easily. Properly, it'll just give an edge to Dhwani.
The biggest advice was this, just to be open, just different does not mean bad. Unlearn a few things, learn something else.
Today's gonna be a big day. Are you ready? Okay, so you can print from your bed. Wait, you can't print from there.
Of course I can.
That's kind of impressive.
And from here, and here, and he can too.
I can.
Now that's impressive.
Alexa, ask my printer to print coloring pages. Lots and lots of coloring pages.
But what if you run out of ink?
Not gonna happen.
Introducing the HP Tango. Finally, a printer ready for today.
Steve Gupta is one of the major supporters of TIFF. He's been actively involved for many years. He's one of the donors who got this very building, TIFF Bell Lightbox, built. He loves movies, and he's been supportive of our mission as well.
Many years back, when I was visiting TIFF as an actor, I walked through the doors of the foyer. The first thing I saw on the bell box was the name of Rashmi and Steve Gupta. It was such a proud feeling for me that somebody from our community, somebody from Indian background, has actually put his name on the bell box of one of the most premier film festivals in the world today. Steve, how did you achieve this?
Well, actually, I did whatever I could, but I always believed God up there tries to do whatever. I was contacted by now the mayor of Toronto, John Tory. He was at that time opposition leader for the Progressive Conservative Party. And he asked me that, Steve, I want you to become part of this.
Okay.
And we came, and a few other people I knew who were involved on the board, and they asked me to get involved. The building was under construction at that time. So I looked at it, I felt this is a great contribution, and also shows that our community is working with the mainstream, which is the key. It doesn't only help me, it helps TIFF, obviously. It promotes culture, it promotes art, it promotes film. Films are the best medium today to send a message to any generation, doesn't matter. And they have changed the lives of a lot of people. Actually, they reshaped the world today. Films have done that. And then look at India, where it is. A lot of the messages coming from the films are going there. So my reasoning was to overall, to help obviously TIFF, to help the local community and be involved part of it, that we are not here just to make money and pocket it and not give back. And two is also showcase our Indian community that we are there. Even if at least one person does that, is good.
Right.
And that was my motive.
We are sitting in the foyer of Toronto International Film Festival. One thing which we do know is that back in your days, you really were a very good actor and a singer. Tell us something about those days.
I don't know. As you know, every youngster in India wants to be a film star or wants to be a singer. Yes, I was, I believe, reasonably good singer. Yeah. And everybody told me that I should. And I did want to go to Hollywood, Bollywood, in Mumbai, basically. In those days it was Bombay. Mm-hmm. And but family, I'm the eldest child. I have 6 other siblings. And my father would have been very upset if I did. Mm-hmm. So then the next thing was, I said, I want to go to a foreign country, and I came over to Canada. Mm-hmm. And had I gone there, would I have been successful? I believe so. Because it's all is in you, what you believe in yourself if you want to do it. I don't compete with the rest of the world. I only compete with myself. Right. And every time I do something, next time I want to do it better. Right. And every project, every hotel we have built, we have done that. Right. And if I had gone to film industry, mm-hmm. perhaps I would have done both, acting as well as singing, which was a weird combination those days. Right. They were singers, but then they were actors. So those days are gone back now. Now I sometimes aspire to make a film or produce a film, so I can put my ideas, what I had, back in there. But
so would it be too much if we request you to sing some lines for us?
Well, in हवाओं में, in फिजाओं में, in हवाओं में, in फिजाओं में, तुझको मेरा प्यार पुकारे, आजा जा रे, तुझको मेरा प्यार पुकारे हो. Oh, 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 oh,
I'm sure अगर आप फिल्म इंडस्ट्री जाते तो आप उतने ही सक्सेसफुल होते जितने आप टोरंटो आके हुए हैं. Because I think that was amazing. This is one of the best recitation I've heard of this song. So great.
First try, you know how it is. You need to warm up for singing. You know.
Yes.
खंडरात बताते हैं कि इमारत बुलंद थी.
Steve, if you ever write your autobiography, what will be its title?
Well, I haven't thought of that, but I've thought of the title, I mean. I've thought of writing the biography. I would say, the best is yet to come.
Best is yet to come. That's right. So, Steve, if I have to ask you to rate talent, hard work, and luck for your success, then how would you rate them?
Well, you have to have a good combination of everything. It's hard to say what percentage. Hard work is the key. If you keep sitting, if you can dream all day, all night long. If you don't get up and go to work, no dreams will ever come true. So hard work is very important. I believe with hard work, luck comes. I always say, harder I work, luckier I get. Harder I work, luckier I get. And with that, I always say the blessings of your parents, blessings of your old elders, and my Guruji and God is always there. That helps. And your good karmas. If you're good to people, if you're doing good things, you're a good human being and good soul, I think good things happen to you. But at the same time, in order to be at the right place at the right time, you have to make an effort.
Right.
You can't just be at the right place and think that something. On that note, I will say a couple of lines in Hindi. ख्वाबों से नहीं गिरते झोली में फूल, कर्म की शाखा को हिलाना पड़ता है, अंधेरों को कोसने से दिए नहीं जलते, अपने हिस्से का दिया खुद जलाना पड़ता है. You have to do what you believe in it. You have to do it yourself. Nobody else is going to do it. And I can give you dozens of examples of people not reacting when they were given the opportunity. And if entrepreneurs are, if somebody tells me something, I'll never give up. I say, okay, let's go and do it.
Steve, what is your success mantra?
Well, I think that basically is hard work, passion, and building a great reputation with integrity, having a great family, strong family that united and dedicated to each other. Like I said before, I will do anything for my wife and my children. And I'm proud to be Indian, and I'm proud of my Indian heritage, and I'm as much proud of being a Canadian citizen. It has to be a combination of a lot of things. And having a vision, having a dream, and making that dream come true. And that is the key. And not taking no for an answer. I work hard, I believe in God, and I do the right things, whatever I can, and I always give back to the community and think positive about other people. I don't care what other people think about me, I just do my work.
It's been our honor to have you on the show and know about your life. And I'm sure many of you would feel just as inspired as I have today. So we would like to present this Sprocket from HP.
Thank you very much, really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Relentless hard work, passion to succeed, and never taking no for an answer, and always working hard and improving on yourself. These are some of the values that make Steve Gupta what he is today. These are the values that are core to his success. Next week, we'll be back with yet another spectacular story, so be back.
They didn't want to go to Bollywood, and Mumbai basically. In those days it was Bombay. And but family, I'm the eldest child. I have 6 other siblings, and my father would have been very upset if I did. So then the next thing was I said I want to go to a foreign country, and I came over to Canada.